Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvah sov, v'tzivonu lehadlik neshal yom tov.
Just like my grandfather.
Yeah.
Do we blow these out at the end?
I'd like to get the thing lit.
It's not a birthday party.
Blessed are you, eternal God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us by commanding us to light the holiday candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehi na kid. Wait a minute, this is a tough one. What, tell me it again. She what?
Shehekianu.
Shehekianu.
Sheheki Green.
Yeah. Shehekianu. Vicky Manu.
I'm playing for the Bush.
Anu Lazman Hazer. Blessed are you, eternal God. You know, I know why I got kicked out of Hebrew school.
The Haggadah tells us about a mensch named Moses who told the Pharaoh, let my people go. But the Pharaoh said, no, no, no. God saw he wouldn't listen, so he punished the Egyptians. And Egypt cried 1,000 tears. The Red Sea split in two. That's how the Jews got through.
And they ran down in the desert for 40 years.
We're having a traditional Passover Seder here, and I understand that all are welcome. That's why a Goyim, a non-Jew like myself...
Goyim. It's Goyim.
See, I don't know how to say it right.
Jeez.
Like myself, is allowed to sit and be at the Seder. Is that...
Yeah, to the few Jews who are willing to come out.
Interestingly enough, people always think I'm Jewish. In the book, Jews Who Rock, like you, respect Knuckles.
Yeah, and
Jay was like, how did you get in here?
Well, how does me and Madonna, we don't get in, and you get in, and you're not a Jew.
JJ French from Twisted Sister, of course. Leslie West Mountain. Scott Ian from Anthrax.
Pour some wine, boys.
Oh, we have to pour wine?
This is the only reason I come to this thing.
Yeah, there's a fresh round of wine each.
Yeah,
Just use the water glass in the wine, by the way. Just
I don't like, I'll spill the wine.
Like that, yeah.
Spill the wine.
Spill the wine. Isn't that a song?
Yeah, Break That Girl. Wasn't it? There's Earth Burden and the Animals.
Yeah. See, Scott's got it right, man. He's supposed to pour other people's wine.
Oh,
well, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
there you
right.
go.
Yeah, it's okay, darling. No problem.
So we're not only including myself as a non-Jew at the table, but all the viewers at VH1 Classic who may have never experienced a traditional Seder. Is it Seder? You say the R or no?
Not Seder. Unless you're from West Hempstead. Then you go Seder. But...
Well, Leslie's our master of ceremonies since we don't have a heavy metal rabbi to take us through
Not
this.
really.
So, you're going to take us through this musically?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it right here with you.
Oh, yeah.
You want to humor me?
Dude, you are the master of disaster. Fire it up.
Eloheinu melech haolam, right behind Goffin.
Is there going to be a translation?
Yeah. Drink the wine.
Break that girl.
Blessed are you, eternal God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. L'chaim.
Is that Manischewitz?
It's pretty good.
I heard it's great on ice.
I was expecting Belvedere, but this is really good. Sweet.
Can you do that version of Massapequa Queen?
Can I see the cap?
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
Manischewitz Queen. Let's go. Come on, give us a Manischewitz Queen.
Wow.
Give it up for Manischewitz.
It was very good, wasn't it?
Yeah. As master of ceremonies, I know maybe you're not comfortable with
My
this
father's turning on just
job
great right now.
description.
I'm leading this thing, man.
Can you give us a brief, people who are watching and understanding a brief overview of what Passover is? I got the suffering part down.
It was a week off in school, that's what I remember. It was a big holiday.
I think we need details.
Yeah, Passover used to mean Florida and Disney World, really,
Well,
and a couple hours of annoyance.
Let's see. It has something to do with the Pharaoh.
Something to do with a Pharaoh.
Haven't you seen the Ten Commandments?
Let my people go. He was holding on to some people.
Passover, what it actually is Metallica wrote a song about it called Creeping Death. If we want to keep tying this into heavy metal,
I knew
they actually did.
Creeping Death was
Yes, Creeping Death is about, because they were actually in Denmark recording Ride the Lightning, and they were watching 10 Commandments. James had seen it constantly on television, and it's the scene when Moses is bringing the plagues down on Egypt because the Pharaoh won't let the Jews out of slavery.
Right.
So he keeps bringing the plagues down one after another, and what the Creeping Death was is when God sends down the creeping fog that kills all the firstborn children of Egypt, and the Jews escaped because they painted the lamb's blood in their doorway, so it knew to pass over their house.
Well, now we got to raise interest.
Now it's coming back to me.
Creeping Death, Metallica, Lamb's Blood.
Exactly.
This is heavy metal.
That's what the Passover was. It would pass over the Jews' house and only kill the firstborn Egyptian sons. And and Metallica wrote a song about it.
Okay, but in storytelling, and it is with all the depression and the suffering, it's also about liberation, right?
I think so.
It's also
when I got dropped by RCA the first time, that was my liberation.
It's about liberation and storytelling. All right.
Well, we were on Atlantic. That was slavery, wasn't it?
Yeah, indentured servitude.
Indentured servitude, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
All that deals
we
that.
do know something.
I think Johnny Z. Excuse me. All right, so storytelling,
we had no slaves.
Liberation. See, I'm going somewhere with this.
Right.
Storytelling, liberation.
Right.
As a musician, as an artist, was there a time in your career where you felt the switch was thrown, you felt liberated as an artist? I'll explain, okay? I know that point in my life was high school, 12th grade. The toughest guy in the school became the bass player for our band. His name was Dino Dionisio. This guy once picked up a guy and threw him.
Name?
Dionisio. Dino, nice Jewish guy.
Dionisio, right?
Dionisio. Literally threw a guy over a car, over the roof of a car. Well, having him in the band, I felt I could dress any way I wanted to dress, and I started wearing.
Now you were bad.
The clothes. It was always bad. I think I was half a drag queen, but I started the glam thing, and I started wearing makeup, and I started doing the things that wound up becoming, the Twisted Sister thing. It was because knowing I had the most badass mother effer in the school on the stage with me, I could do what I wanted to. Well, the full-on was Twisted.
11?
No, 11. Well, that's a whole different thing. Oh. Was there a point in any of your careers where you thought, I finally started to feel, I've thrown the switch here, I feel liberated, I'm becoming the person that I am as a musician?
For me, already being a guitar player when I was 13, and it kind of ties into the glam thing as well, but in a completely different way. I saw Kiss at Madison Square Garden in December of '77, and I was so into music. And
I saw that tour.
Yeah, so.
Did Hagar open up? Sammy Hagar opened?
No, it was like a band called Detective one night.
Detective?
No, you dragged me to that show. It wasn't that. That was the year before.
And Billy Squire one night with Piper opened.
Oh my God!
As well.
Continue. I'm sorry.
But seeing Kiss for me really, the switch was thrown in my head that night. Just knowing that this is absolutely what I'm going to do with my life. I mean, from that point, I was just on a straight track to I will be in a band. I'm going to make this happen. And I know that seemed like an unbelievable, thing, and nobody believed. My parents, whatever, yeah, sure, and nobody. But I just knew in my brain this is all I'm going to do in my life. Not necessarily the same way as Kiss. I didn't want to get on stage in makeup and blow fire as much as I love that. But I just knew in my brain after seeing them. I mean, I could remember being at those shows and being in school that next week and hanging out. My friends are going, I'm going to have a band. That's all I'm going to do with my life.
I know what you're saying. I exactly know what you're saying. Leslie, I think you told me your epiphany. Was it seeing Clapton?
Yeah, well, my brother actually turned me on to Cream before I ever heard of Cream.
This is a chance for you to give your brother a little props.
Yeah,
he was a bass player in your band?
That's right. Larry was a bass player in the Vagrants. And our producer was Felix Papillari, who produced Cream. And I remember my brother said to me... and
the Vagrants were, I don't mean to interrupt you, a pretty big regional band.
Regional,
so you were,
in Long Island.
Oh, yeah, but you guys...
That was it.
It's a big region.
But you guys were huge locally, and you were getting some acclaim. You had a record deal. Felix Papillari was producing you. But you had not seen Clapton yet.
I had not seen Clapton yet. And when my brother played me the Fresh Cream, he said, well, you gotta hear this. The voice sounds like a guitar. The guitar sounds like a voice. You don't know what's going on. He says, let's go see Cream. I said, all right. So we went to the Village Theater before it was the Fillmore. But my brother had the bright idea, let's drop some acid before we go see Cream.
Bonus.
So the curtain opened up, and I heard them play Sunshine of Your Love, and I just turned to my brother and went, oh, boy, I really got to practice.
It's like you thought you were a guitar player.
I thought, and then I said, Larry, a little while past, I see Disraeli Gears, produced by Felix Pappalar. He didn't produce Fresh Cream. And I said to my brother, I said, is this the same guy that produced The Vagrants? He says, yeah. I said, how come we don't sound like Cream? He says, because we suck. You didn't practice enough. You didn't practice enough.
What about you, Jack?
You know, I think, because you've heard these stories a billion times, but I think I was a Grateful Dead freak as a teenager, and I'd seen him 26. I saw him 26 times between '68 and '72. Back when they were at their peak. Well, I was a Fillmore East nut. I was at the Fillmore every weekend, so I saw Zepp's opening band and all this stuff. But I saw the Dead 26 times, and what happened was I had gotten a subscription to Fusion magazine, which was like kind of a Cream, Rolling Stone-ish kind of magazine, and on the cover was David Bowie. And that was in September of '72. And I looked at this picture of David Bowie, and I opened up the magazine, and with the subscription came a copy of Transformer, I think Ziggy Stardust, and Martha Hoople album. And I looked at Mick Ronson and went, oh my God! And I literally said, I looked in the mirror and I went, okay, this is over. This is done. This era is done. I'm now going to cut my hair, dye it blonde, and I'm going to have no friends.
All right, I got another question for you guys. Pairing up. I'm not talking about dates, but I'm talking about musical pairings. What is the greatest, strangest, best, most interesting, or worst musical pairing that you ever have had?
I had some good lucky ones.
You really played a lot.
I played on the original Who's Next, and the Who's company track was on Agents in England. So we came back home, and I get a call from Kit Lambert, who is one of their managers with Chris Stamp. And he says, well, Pete would like you to play lead on Who's Next. I said, why?
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I swear.
I mean, it's just, wow, I didn't know that.
Well, it's out now. He just released it last year with the whole side I did with the record plant.
Oh, so it wasn't on the original Who's Next?
No, we did it at the record plant.
Right.
And when Kit called me up, he says, Pete he doesn't want to overdub. You play lead, he'll play rhythm. So I said, you gotta be kidding. You know, what was I, 20 some odd years old from Forest Hills, and now I'm playing with the Who. But then he says to me, does Felix play keyboard? I said, yeah, I think he overdubbed some bass pedals or something on Cream. He said, well, have him come down. But Felix, with his mammoth ego, God rest his soul, tells our road manager, bring my bass amps down there. And we're at the record plant, and John Entwistle walks in and says, I'm a bass player now, who's this? And Felix says, well, make up your mind, I'm a busy man. Townsend says, well, get out of here, we thought you were Felix Cavalieri.
Oh, no.
And there I am, I'm shrinking like this, and Felix is like embarrassed, because he thought he was going to produce it. Right. Jack Douglas is there. So I see Felix, he puts his coat on, he's ready to leave, and he comes over and he says, are you in tune? Are you okay? I said, yeah, I think I'm okay. But I felt so bad for him, thrilled for myself.
For me, and recently, it's the meaning of it, I guess, has even become deeper. After Dimebag was murdered in December, I mean, we got to tour with those guys, play together with Pantera so many times, and not that I ever took it for granted, because every night they would bring me up on stage and I would do Walk with them, or I would do New Level, or any number of songs. And getting to do that with him every night. And I just recently saw a bunch of video back. Someone sent me a bunch of videos from the tour we did in '97, '98, and all these clips of me on stage with them, you know, playing, and me and Dime, like, with our two guitars, like rubbing the strings together and chasing each other around the stage. And it's like, I kind of had forgotten about that, because truthfully,
was he a good player?
It was the best.
See, that's out of a full circle thing in a way.
After Eddie Van Halen, for me, he was the next guy.
See, I view that in a full circle way, because they had to be Anthrax fans.
Oh, Pantera?
Pantera.
Oh, well, yeah.
The guy,
absolutely.
So he's viewing, oh my God, I'm playing with one of my heroes, and he's one of your offspring, so to speak, became one of your heroes. That's kind of cool. You, Jay?
Well, a couple things come to mind. First off, Alice Cooper the band being your hero, and Michael Bruce.
Well, that's going to be
Okay.
And Neil Smith.
Fine.
And,
Well,
oh my
then
God.
maybe. I guess for me, and that was fascinating to do that, but that was only because of the shock in their faces when we played with them. But
Yeah.
for me, doing that guitar solo on Tear It Loose with Fast Eddie Clarke was probably the most insane thing. We were doing Under the Blade in England, and we were doing it on a really, small budget. It was an independent label, so we were recording in a barn with hay bales in between the Marshall stacks and the drums. That's how they. It really kind of was. And Mendoza, as a matter of fact, when he did his bass tracks, the hens laid 36% more eggs, and the farmer told us that the hens laid more. He wanted Mendoza to keep playing.
When he was touring up his bass, the cows started uncontrollably, like, and he's like,
He had a big growl.
So Eddie Clarke comes in and he says to me, he says, all right. So he said, what do you want me to do? I said, well, you and I will play. He said, well, I said, so you do your track and I'll do mine. He says, no, we have to do it together. And I said, together? He says, yeah. He says, we'll take the Marshall stacks, we'll put them. We'll build a wall of hay around us. We'll stand in the middle, and I said, well, but it's going to have to be so loud with headphones to hear over what the Marshalls are going to be because we're right there. He says, well, I have a solution to that. And he had 2 guitar cases, and he pulls out his Les Paul one, and the other was filled with Jack Daniels. And he opens up the guitar case, and he goes, JJ, let's go. And I don't drink. And I went, well, I guess when in Rome, I'm drinking now. And we did it. It was amazing.
yeah, for me, what Jay was starting to say with Alice Cooper, I mean, being such a huge fan of the band Alice Cooper, and we all were.
I always wondered about that because when you guys came out with the outfits and the makeup, I said, it's not like he's ripping Alice off. It's just like taking it to another.
It was inspired.
Right.
A lot of people thought it was Kiss, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Kiss.
It was an extension, actually.
Yeah.
To the next level.
And we had jammed with Michael Bruce on a number of occasions, and Neil Smith.
He was almost going to be a drummer.
Almost going to be a drummer with Twisted at one point. And then we did a song called Be Cruel to Your School, and I asked Alice to do a duet. And I got to sing in the studio with him, and then we did a video with him, and it was just surreal. All right. Now, I understand there's a tradition with the matzah that you break a piece, the middle piece, and I'm going to get to do it. Am I allowed to do this?
You can do anything you want today, D.
Okay. And put it in. What's this bag?
That's where you hide it.
This is the hiding bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't tell
and
me
you
where
hide it in the room, and the children apparently go and find this, and they get a reward if they find it. Since you're the youngest at the table,
I'm the child.
Matter of fact, you have to go to the card table over there because there's no room up here for you. So
you might get a guitar because we got a lot of guitars.
Yeah, okay. So no looking. We'll take a break. We're gonna hide this, and later on you got to find it.
Okay.
And reap your rewards. Matzo Metal.
Nice.
The Haggadah tells us about a mensch named Moses who told the Pharaoh, let my people go. But the Pharaoh said, no, no, no. God saw he wouldn't listen, so he punished the Egyptians. And Egypt cried 1,000 tears. The Red Sea split in 2. That's how the Jews got through.
And they ran down in the desert for 40 years.
All right, guys, time for a glass of wine number 2.
I'm going to play this again, but you want to sing it with me? Come on, I'm dying to hear you sing it.
What am I singing?
Baruch atah Adonai, okay?
Okay, is there a
Hang on.
that goes with it?
Well, you come up with it whenever. I'll give you a little intro, okay?
This is how they used to sing it in the Delta, by the way.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Elohim melech olam.
Way down around Pittsburgh. Oh, wrong song.
Yeah. And I'm not going to take it.
Borough Park. Long location.
L'chaim, baby.
What does that mean? Do you have any idea what that means?
To life.
Blessed art thou, O Lord our God. Drink the wine.
All right, what's the deal with this, Leslie? We eat this stuff or...
Well, there's some of it you can eat. Now, I do know that the bitter herb is in there, and each thing actually means something. Now, I do have a list here, and I want to get this right.
Please do.
So
what is this called? Is it called a Seder plate?
It's a Seder plate.
Yes.
Okay.
And the parsley is a garnish that represents the appetizer, but we have to dip it in the salt water to remember our tears. When you got dropped by your label.
Here comes the suffering.
The Japanese call it wasabi.
We really need to do this.
Let's be clear on that.
Oh, we got to do it symbolically?
Yeah, we dip a little bit of the parsley in the salt.
Oh, wait, now, chef, it's out of the way.
And, all right.
Oh, this is...
I'm remembering the suffering now. And then the shank bone, this is where Passover gets its name. The Hebrews were told to smear lamb's blood
Parsley.
on their doorpost. You listening to me?
You doing it
Hey,
for Simpson?
hey,
Go, I'm sorry, I'm
doing
sorry.
like my father did to me. Pay attention here.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just trying
And
to
ask questions later. No, this is the whole idea of a Passover. Look at him. I'll wait till you throw it up.
I'm suffering here. I'm suffering.
You don't have to eat it.
Oh, you don't have to eat it?
Just attempt to eat
you
it.
know, go ahead.
But the shank bone is very important because the Hebrews were told to smear lamb's blood.
I'll get a little excited now. We're going to be smearing some lamb's blood around here.
On the doorpost, so the angel of death would pass over their homes and
Slayer
not
song.
A Slayer
smile.
song.
More metal.
More metal stealing from the Jewish faith.
Well, it's a faith. I don't know if you call it a faith. Now, the roasted egg. You want to know about the roasted egg?
I want to know about everything.
If you use a little mayonnaise, you can make great egg salad.
Okay,
But it represents rebirth. Because the Jews were given another chance of life when they were freed from slavery.
do we do anything with the egg? You put it on your foot and step
It's
on it?
roasted because they were in the desert.
Oh, it's
Why is it
roasted?
roasted? Yeah, I never really
You can't
understood
really
that.
eat that.
Okay.
Now, you want to know what this stuff is? It's horseradish in the middle.
What's the difference between a roasted egg and a shoe? If you had to, you could eat the shoe. All right, what else is here?
It's horseradish in the middle.
All right, what does that represent?
I don't think it represents anything. I think you just dip stuff.
It's a garnish. Come on.
It's
We had some
better
roast
tasting
beef.
garnish than the rest of the
Please,
stuff
sir,
on the
can I have some
Now
more?
this one right here is, I think, cinnamon and...
Haroset.
That's the bitter one, baby.
No, that's sweet, actually.
Is it?
That's apples,
But it's-
yeah.
I think that's,
Oh, yeah, that's
I've heard that
that's
actually
sweet.
tastes
that's the bitter-
reasonable.
It can be
after
really
you eat
good
the
if-
horseradish
if
and the
it's made
parsley,
well.
that bone will taste good. Well, what do you... Wait a minute, are we supposed to do anything with this? Leslie, somehow I feel I'm not being led.
Yeah, well, if we had gefilte fish, it would be...
You're no Moses. Where's Charlton Heston?
yeah. Well, Scott,
I don't know, actually, I don't remember what... one is more bitterness and one is sweetness, but I don't know specifically what they represent.
I believe this is. I'm going to go wild. I'm going to go wild here, but I think that the charoset. Was it called charoset?
You got to get the Jew.
Is sweet.
Remember in the dressing room?
Is actually tasty. I mean, actually,
taste
yeah. And you're supposed to take a piece of matzah and dip it in
go
there.
ahead.
Right,
Where's that for matzah?
right there.
Let me help you
Can you
out.
say that?
Be my guest. This
So the non-Jew is going to experiment.
That's what you're here for.
I am. I'm learning. You're teaching
Except
me.
I'm learning more about this than anybody, because Scott knows all about it. Taste it. What do you think?
Charoset, delicious.
We should have chopped liver here too, but you know.
So, Scott, you hooking up with Public Enemy, I did always want to ask you this question, because I honestly now, that is regarded by many, let's talk about sacrilege, within the metal community as sacrilege.
Right.
You are, well, if Run DMC and Aerosmith didn't get more attention for it and credit for it, you guys would be blamed.
Right.
For it right now. Now, mind you, I thought it was
I give you
genuinely
credit for that.
credit. I thought it was bold. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. I don't think you guys get credit enough, quite honestly, for what the changes you brought to the table as
Right.
far as heavy music goes. But that was bold. And that was you must have. Did you think that there'd be some backlash from the metal community when you took that that chance?
You know, we didn't really worry about it. Before we did the song together, before we did Bring the Noise with Public Enemy, we had done our own rap song called I'm the Man, which
I remember that
dates
clear
back
as a bell.
to
It was
like
great.
86, 87.
I was really from the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Well, that was the current school of rap. Right?
When we put that out, initially it was just the B-side of a single in the UK, which we figured, okay, if people hate it, it's just the B-side of a single, so whatever, it's not going to hurt us in any way. And it ended up blowing up, and the
It
thing
became your signature.
and it went platinum.
Yeah.
I mean, we did it at Donington. It was like we had no expectation. We basically threw it out there, and it blew up. And we were all big rap fans, and the Public Enemy thing just came out of Public Enemy basically being our favorite band, and me trying to figure how can we work together with Public Enemy. I would do anything to work with Chuck. So it was just out of the organic love for that type of music. And the whole thing happened just so easily. I mean, we recorded the track, we made a new arrangement to Bring the Noise, we sent it to Chuck. And at first, he wasn't getting it. He thought it was kind of redundant to do a song basically that he had already done. And I said, yeah, but you got to hear this. You just got to hear the track we laid down. It's so heavy. You got to hear this. So we sent him the cassette at the time. And 2 days later, you know, he called back. He said, this is slamming. When can we do this? And from there, it just, they put the vocals on it. And next thing you knew, we were in Chicago shooting a video. And after the video shoot, I said, man, this was so much fun today. We should tour together. He said, tell us when and where. And then, you know, 4 months later,
proves, you know, who cares what people think?
Yeah, 4 months later, we toured the world together.
Well,
and
Chuck was a rocker, first of all. Chuck, it turns out, used to come see Twisted back in the clubs, and he was on. So he's got a rock.
There was very much a mutual, you know, love and respect for each other. I mean, Chuck came to see us play the first time in '87 at the Beacon Theater, and you know, and that's when we first actually met. And I had already been wearing a Public Enemy shirt, you know, every night on stage, and so there was a lot of respect between the two bands, even, you know, years before we actually worked together.
I love the name of that group.
You bring up names. And we're sitting at the table, 3 Jewish guys and a non-Jew, and I've got my last name, which I never always thought was Jewish. Well, people always thought it was Jewish.
It can be.
Snyder, Schneider, yeah, it can be. But but you guys go by different names. Leslie, you are.
I don't know how I got that.
You know,
Hebrew name?
No, I mean your actual Leslie Weinstein.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
It's Weinstein.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think, you know, I guess they got these names, like if somebody was Goldsmith, when they came over, they asked them what they did for a living over in the old country. They worked with gold. Your name's Goldsmith.
The point is, but you changed.
My mom changed it.
To West.
My mom said.
So it wasn't. You didn't do it for rock. It wasn't a rock and roll.
No, my mom didn't want to have my father's name anymore. He ran away, and she said, "Well, I'll give you a choice." I was in 6th grade. She said, "Winston or West." And at the time, they used to have that commercial, Winston tastes good. Like,
yeah, big mistake.
That's all I heard.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'm not going to choose Winston. Go for West.
Jay, how about your real...
Well, Gene.
Yeah.
I will tell you this.
Chaim
Let's cop to it.
This is the deal, right?
Great
So
name.
John French Segal is my name. So growing up, my teachers all called me Siegel. Everyone's Siegel, Siegel, Siegel. And I'd go home and say, everyone's saying Siegel. My father says, it's 2 L's, it's Segal. You always correct them. But I always had wise-ass teachers. They go, hey, Siegel, come here. You know.
So does that mean Steven Seagal?
Well,
really
so then I learned, because my brother being the historian that he is, and researched the Siegel-Segal conundrum and found out that all of them, Siegels, Segals, and all the different permutations of S-I-E, G, whatever, all came out of this one town in Stefanesh, Romania, and they came here and they were misspelled at Ellis Island. And that's what happened. So you could trace most of the permutations of the name, but I changed my name in that whole process of that evolution where I died, I cut my hair and everything. I looked in the mirror and I said, now what, you're going to become a rock star. I didn't have this J.J. French business yet, but I had, this is an oft-told story. People ask me if I was in KISS, but in reality, I auditioned for a version of that band. But when I first met Gene and Paul, and this is the first time this ever became an issue to me, they had gotten my phone number from an attorney who knew me, and they called me up and they said, we're looking for a guitar player. And I said, okay. I was doing a benefit in a church in the middle of the afternoon in the summer '72. They both come down, and we finished doing a couple of Zepp songs. I walk off stage, and they introduce themselves, and Gene goes, hi, my name is Gene Klein, and this is Stanley Eisen. And you know, and I said, yeah. So I got this. I have this tape. I got this tape of yours, Wicked Lester. They said, yeah. He goes, but and Gene would go, well, Wicked Lester. It's
let me tell you something about Wicked Lester.
Right. It's
history.
Yeah. It's history. And he said, we were changing. He goes, you know about Slade? I said, yeah. He goes, we're going to wear platforms and other stuff. He said, but do me a favor, take your glasses off. I'm wearing clear glasses. And I said, why? He says, take your glasses off. And I go like that. He goes, you look too Jewish with those glasses on. So I went, huh? He said, what's your last name? I said, Segal. He said, I'm going to be Gene Simmons, and this is going to be Paul Stanley, and you should think about, changing your name. And I walked away and said, this guy's a freaking,
That's how you got J.J. French?
Well, so this was this is how this started the evolution in my mind about it. When they went off and I joined Twisted. When I joined Twisted, all those guys had fake names. Like, so Billy Steiger was a German guitar player, was Billy Diamond.
Well, the glitter era, that was very popular.
Very popular. So Mel Anderson was Mel Starr, and Michael O'Neill was Michael Valentine. So they said, we're all changing our names to these kind of, these kind of flowery, glammy names, come up with something. And first it was Johnny Heartbreaker.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, Johnny Heartbreaker.
And then I had like a costume with a heart in the middle. I mean, talk about cornball. If you have a photo of that, you can really blackmail me to death.
Right.
And then that eventually permeated. Then I said, French sounds good. So I said to my father, I'm using French, and he didn't like it. This is my mother's maiden name.
What about you?
Mine just came out of convenience and just simplifying. My full name is Scott Ian Rosenfeld. And
I love that.
And at the time when I first started the band, and just from the first time just having to sign anything or anything, I always just signed Scott Ian usually anyway. It was just, my signature is just like a scribble. So it just came out of just simplifying it. It never had to do with, me worrying about being too Jewish or this or that. Even on our first record on Fistful of Metal, if you look on the back and you see the songwriting credits, it has the different names of the guys in the band, and it always says Rosenfeld, yet, it says rhythm guitar, Scott Ian. So friends of mine would bust my balls all the time, going like, who's the mysterious Rosenfeld guy who wrote all these songs on your record? But, I've never, everybody knows pretty much, what my name is, or it's just always been easier to write.
Are you ready for this? So, I'm the non-Jew. Well, my grandfather was a persecuted Russian Jew. His last name was Palatnik.
You're a Jew.
And when he came over here,
that's proof enough for me.
And he came over, and to get in the country, he had a German half-brother who was in the country, and said, look, just write Snyder or Schneider down on the forms at Ellis Island. It's easier to get in the country if you have relatives.
Was it Schneider?
You know what? I don't know, but that's from Ellis Island.
Right.
S-N-I-D-E-R. That's it. Whatever. But otherwise, it would be D. Palatnik. Leslie, a lot of people here are watching us, right? And they've got a lot of questions racing through their mind, like, what parallel universe is this and all that. I understand there are 4 questions that are asked at a Seder.
Well, the idea of the 4 questions, from what I do remember, is why is this night different than all other nights? And the thing was, to me, it was because you're sitting around with relatives you really don't want to be near. That was the first reason. But Scott, since you're the youngest, that's usually what happens.
What's the youngest always get?
I never knew that either. Why
the youngest gets to read the 4 questions.
Other than that's what happened in the movie.
Usually you sing it. Can you sing it?
I can't sing it, no. I was bar mitzvah, but it was transliterated, and I took the money and went to Laguna Beach and skateboarded for 2 months.
Boy.
At the age of 13, he was a man.
Exactly.
Go for it, Scott.
Okay,
4 questions, okay. How different is this night from all other nights? Okay, 1, on all other nights we may eat either leavened or unleavened bread. On this night, only unleavened bread, meaning matzah.
Right.
2, on all other nights we may eat any vegetable. On this night, we are required to eat bitter herbs. Required to eat bitter herbs.
I don't know who required that.
Sucking more and more.
Yeah, it throws you right in.
Stop being a Jew.
3, on all other nights,
we say it's culturally important to learn this.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
For all of you watching here on VH1 Israel.
Another couple of hours, that parsley's going to be looking mighty good.
3, on all other nights, we are not bidden to dip our vegetables even once. On this night, we dip them twice.
Double dip.
More suffering.
And then 4.
And the spreading of the germs.
In case you missed it the first time.
On all other nights, we eat our meals in any manner. On this night, why do we sit around the table together in a ceremonial fashion? And then apparently there's an answer after that.
What is the answer?
Well, we were slaves of Pharaoh in Egypt. And the Lord our God burst forth from there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. If the Holy One, blessed be He, had not brought forth our ancestors from Egypt, then we and our children and our children's children would still be enslaved to Pharaoh in Egypt. Therefore, even if we are all learned and wise, all elders and fully versed in the Torah, it's our duty nonetheless to retell the story of the Exodus from Egypt. And the more one dwells on the Exodus from Egypt, the more is one to be praised. That was a pretty good thing, us getting out of Egypt.
Now do we blow out the candles?
Leslie West and Mountain are celebrating their 35th anniversary by hitting the road. To check out a show near you, log on to mountaintheband.com. Now, speaking of celebrations, metalheads, have you bought your tickets to see the classic lineup of Anthrax on stage for the first time in 13 years? They're playing a few dates here in the U.S. before heading overseas. Anthrax.com has all the info you need. And of course, Twisted Sister is playing plenty of gigs around the U.S. and overseas. If you can't make it to a concert, pick up Still Hungry, the re-recording of their classic Stay Hungry album, for a taste of what you're missing.
The Haggadah tells us about a mensch named Moses who told the Pharaoh, let my people go. But the Pharaoh said, no, no, no. God saw he wouldn't listen, so he punished the Egyptians. And Egypt cried 1,000 tears. The Red Sea split in two. That's how the Jews got through.
And they ran down in the desert for 40 years.
All right, guys, you know the drill. Re-up on the wine. Got to get fill-up glasses with the Manischewitz. Prepare for round 3. Shouldn't there be a girl with a card walking through here?
Yeah, we already had it.
Ding, 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 ding. And Leslie, raise your glasses. Leslie's going to take us through prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagofen. Blessed art thou, whatever. Fruit of the vine.
Close enough. All right, let's recap.
A lot of suffering here.
The Jews have done a lot of suffering over the centuries, over the eons, and there are 10 plagues.
Yeah, there are
Leslie?
10 plagues.
10 plagues.
Now,
What are the plagues? Share those.
This was actually the Jews dishing out some punishment.
yeah, we're giving it back now.
Yeah. The plagues.
This is what we get back.
Oh! You put the
Yes, we
plagues
put the
on
plagues on
people?
the- yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you see what happened was the Pharaoh didn't listen, so 10 plagues were brought upon Pharaoh's people. And the tradition on Passover, we dip our finger and remove 10 drops of wine from our glass, one for each plague. The final plague, the slaying of the firstborn child, was the last straw.
And reenacted
And the
here
Pharaoh
live.
finally decided, let the Jews go, I'm leaving. So I'm going to tell you the plagues, and each time I mention a plague, dip your finger in the wine and then put it on the table.
Okay. Put it on the table?
Yeah.
Oh, the
cloth,
napkin, the
cloth,
cloth,
napkin,
the cloth.
whatever.
Okay.
First is blood.
Blood. Oh, yeah.
Blood. Then we have frogs.
Frogs.
Then lice.
Sounds like my high school.
And wild beasts.
Sounds like my eyes.
Mosh pit. Cattle plague.
Sounds like some gang.
Mad cow. Boils.
Oh, that's my favorite.
How about piles? Hail. Locusts.
Locust.
Darkness.
Sounds like the bands we played with last year at the Death Metal Festival. doesn't
And the
it?
slaying of the firstborn. Once the Pharaoh heard
we
that, he
opened
said,
for that,
that's it, I'm
I
out
was
of here.
saying something lyrics from an Iron Maiden song.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Moses went to the Pharaoh after laying on the 10 plagues and said, let my people go.
After Pharaoh's son was killed.
After the firstborn.
Yeah.
And the Pharaoh said, okay,
was it.
I've had enough.
I'm gone.
You're out of here. You're
You
free.
made your point.
You made your point.
Go ahead.
All right.
Take your matzah and get out of town.
Any of you guys ever, in the bands you've been in, the various situations you've been with, record labels, whatever, been in a situation where you've drawn the line and said, this is what's going to happen, or I'm out of here?
I had the reverse happen. I was on Scotty Brothers, and I had heard rumors about Scotty Brothers, like Mars Levy type stories, this and that, and I forgot the guy's name. He called me up to say, Leslie, we're going to have to drop Mountain from the label. I said, okay. I was thrilled. I didn't want anything to do. He said, what do you mean? I said, okay. Because I heard some real stories, man, but that was a reverse story.
The only one I think like that for me is, and I'm not going to name names,
Why not?
Jay. Well, because this person is out and around.
They're not going to hurt you, man. We have plagues.
I'm pretty sure that they're now joined the Hells Angels.
Oh, okay, well, forget it.
And that was when one of our drummers and we used to not get along at all. And finally, I mean, it got to the point of violence where he actually physically threw something at me. I know that some bands, they have thrown out fights all the time, but it's just like, I'm not in a band to be getting into physical fighting with guys. This is what I do because I love it. I don't want to be one of those, because you hear a story about the Who or other bands where you hear that they're beating the crap out of each other.
knocking the crap out of
Yeah, knocking the crap. And I remember saying to Jay, and as a matter of fact, it was a club gig, this way back, and I before we went on stage, I said, either he goes or I go.
we had a similar moment with the first singer in the band before Joey Belladonna, actually.
And you're reunited with Joey now. You're doing
Joey's
official reunion with Danny and Joey now.
Yeah. This predates Joey Belladonna, the guy, Neil Turbin, who sang on our first album, Fistful of Metal. And who's a friend of ours in high school and a great lead singer, but there was just a personality conflict between him and the rest of the band. And we did our first tour in the summer of 1984, first time living together in a van, leaving New York and driving around the country and, really roughing it. And there was a certain camaraderie between four of us, and he was kind of the odd man out, and it was, we knew the decision had to be made. If we were going to ever go one day past that tour, that, this guy had to be done. And then Charlie and I, after the tour was over, I'd go to Charlie's house every day, and we'd try and get Neil on the phone, to tell him he was out of the band. And basically it was like, we've got some good news and bad news. And he thought we were firing our manager at the time, Johnny Z. And like, no, the good news is you'll never have to do any more shows for Johnny because you're out of the band. And it sucked.
Everybody who's in Anthrax take one step forward, not so fast.
And it sucked because it's not something we wanted to have to do. The last thing we wanted to do was change members, but we just knew at that point in our infancy, if we were ever going to get anywhere, we just felt like we can't have this constant conflict. Like you were saying, you're here to have fun. You're doing this because you love it, and it's fun. And if there's something that's just constantly erupting into stress, you had to change it.
You know what? Metal is, in general, heavy metal, and it wasn't called heavy metal when you started, but you were one of the founders. Heavy Metal Thunder. Born to Be Wild.
Who knows what that was then?
Yeah, I think he was talking about motorcycles or something.
I thought it was heavy metal because the strings sounded really loud.
Well, that's what I thought as well.
But
Metallic sounding.
Coleman will take credit. The Blue Oyster Cult manager takes credit for describing that as heavy, is the sound of guitar strings being hit heavily.
He takes credit for that?
Yes, he does.
I got to ask a question, because metal, heavy music is pretty defiant. Rock is defiant. I mean, it's the backbone of all rock. With Jews in rock, okay, and it doesn't apply to you, but tattoos, isn't that like the ultimate taboo in the Jewish faith to...
Oh, you have your marks from Auschwitz.
To put tattoos on your body? Is it...
That's a very popular...
You have a tattoo?
I have a tattoo. It's a popular myth, and I was tattooed by an Orthodox Jew, and he was covering tattoos, and he was speaking Yiddish the whole time. It's kind of like just kind of joking, and I said, "What's up with the myth of the tattoos?" And he says, according to his rabbi, it's an overblown misconception. Although Jews have this thing about not desecrating one's skin, and therefore you can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery. It's not that you can't be tattooed, but you could not be buried in a Jewish cemetery if you have a tattoo.
Well,
and
that's a pretty big deal. That you can't be buried in the...
You have to care, though.
Didn't they burn your number on like a tattoo?
I don't care.
That's the whole point. So if they burn your number in Auschwitz, then do you get a separate? Do you get a dispensation? I mean, what happens?
But that was why it was also the ultimate thing
for the Germans.
Indignity for the Germans to do a tattoo a Jew.
I want to open up a cemetery called Jews with Tattoos, because I'm sure people will be flying in from all over the world to bury themselves in this. But yes, I have
bury and kiss coffins too.
I'd buy the T-shirt.
Gene will be right there. But yes,
I'd buy the T-shirt.
See there we go.
Yep.
My mom actually has tattoos. I wasn't raised. I mean, I'm Jewish because I was born Jewish, but I'm not religious at all. It's not something that it's really ever been a part of my life. And so my grandfather, though, on the other hand, who was, and when my grandfather was still alive, I really didn't have that many yet, so I was still able to kind of get away with it when I would see him by either wearing just a long sleeve shirt or making sure I had pants on or something, so he couldn't see my calves.
But you were conscious of it.
Yeah, I didn't want to bum out my grandfather, truthfully. So I don't think he never knew that my brother or I had tattoos. We never let him know.
Scott, how often do you guys play Germany?
Every year.
The first time you were in Germany, was it strange to you?
Yeah,
did it feel weird?
To me.
All right,
to me.
D, I brought this picture with me because we played Nuremberg in the summer.
It was strange for me.
In 1943.
Hitler spoke.
Yeah, with Hitler's the Crystal Palace.
In the field at we call it Zeppelin Field.
Yeah, we played there.
We're playing a Monsters Rock Festival.
Yeah.
I'm standing on stage, and it's August of '83. It's now 40 years to the month of Hitler's biggest speeches, and back then, I think the Cold War was still going on. So the people who used to come to see us were all guys in the army, and they're all drunk. It's like, yo, Twister, as seniors it speaks. You hear this all the time, but you're in Germany. So I'm on that stage, and we're staring at the building where Hitler came out and did the speeches. And
the podium where Hitler would stand up there.
This is
I
it.
chop rock off it. Yeah, I chop rock off it.
That's the pic, because Charlie sent me this picture of what it looked like during sound, just before we went on stage. So you're on stage, and you're going, all right, I want to rock, and all the arms went up, and I saw the Sieg Heil, and I walked off stage, and the promoter, Ozzy Hoppy, walks up to me and he goes, "You Jew, JJ?" I said, "How do you guess?" He goes, "Because you're white as a ghost. All Jews have same reaction." He says to me, and then Lemmy,
you know what's
Lemmy goes
up
out
to
there.
me. Lemmy goes, he goes, "JJ." No, I said, "Yeah, you know what this is historically?" He goes on stage. And he goes, "All right, let me hear you scream." And people scream, and he looks over and he goes, "You did it louder in 38.
Lemmy says. Hey, what is the deal with the empty
This
seat?
guy, Elijah.
Elijah. This is Elijah?
Yeah. And
Or is Elijah here, or is this for him?
He
set
hasn't
a
shown
place
up.
for
He's
him.
supposed to come.
He's never shown up. Every Seder has his empty chair for him. It's pretty rude. They have food for him if he used to show. You know,
It's
but
Elvis.
when I was young, I used to always think that somebody didn't show up. And I think that chair was set for him. He's not supposed to show. You know why he's not supposed to
He's
show?
at P. Diddy's Seder.
Leslie West and Mountain are celebrating their 35th anniversary by hitting the road. To check out a show near you, log on to mountaintheband.com. Now, speaking of celebrations, metalheads, have you bought your tickets to see the classic lineup of Anthrax on stage for the first time in 13 years? They're playing a few dates here in the U.S. before heading overseas. Anthrax.com has all the info you need. And of course, Twisted Sister is playing plenty of gigs around the U.S. and overseas. If you can't make it to a concert, pick up Still Hungry, the re-recording of their classic Stay Hungry album, for a taste of what you're missing.
The Haggadah tells us about a mensch named Moses who told the Pharaoh, "Let my people go." But the Pharaoh said, "No, no, no." God saw he wouldn't listen, so he punished the Egyptians, and Egypt cried 1,000 tears. The Red Sea split in two. That's how the Jews got through.
And they ran down in the desert for 40 years. Matzo Metal.
All right, guys, tradition is tradition. Let's raise our fourth and final glass of wine. And Leslie, will you lead us, please?
Yes. Blessed are you, eternal God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. And Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagofen. Drink up, boys.
Down the hatch.
Drink it all.
Get your pull.
It's pretty good, that wine.
All right, so I'm picking up a definite theme here, Passover. It's all about the Jews, drink a lot, and eat. This is like Fear Factor. Okay, you have to eat the parsley.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's gonna eat the roasted egg? No, but it's overcoming challenges, basically.
Yeah.
In our rock and roll careers, we've all overcome challenges to get where we got today. But we've created images for ourselves. People perceive us all, each of us, a certain way publicly. What about your image or about how you're perceived publicly would you wish you could change? Like for me, besides the fact that everybody thinks I'm Jewish, that I'm stupid. That, there's a certain stupidity that is connected to heavy metal rock and roll.
Dyed blonde hair.
Dyed blonde hair, makeup, costume, screaming face,
That's funny. That's why I
jumping and
started
running
wearing
around.
glasses.
So you look smarter?
I used to wear glasses that weren't really glasses. Well, Corky used to throw the sticks and they would break off and hit me in the eye. But it turned out one day, I looked at myself, I said, I quit school in the 10th grade. And I felt very intelligent, and people thought I was a dumb schmuck.
Well, and it's music we played. It's
Well, yeah, but the thing is, and I saw, I recently, people used to think Mountain had one hit, Mississippi Queen, but we had Nantucket Sleigh Ride, Theme from Imaginary West, and Never in My Life, which were big album hits.
Yeah.
And I got to do Mississippi Queen again with Ozzy this summer. And Ozzy wears glasses because he has to, not because he has sunglasses. And there's nothing wrong with wearing glasses, but I felt so uptight that people thought if you played heavy metal guitar or heavy guitar, you're an idiot. I don't know why.
Well, there's definitely a dumbness attributed to it.
Well, you have to be stupid to play some of that stuff.
No, I people that I work with in my band, it's not that they can't do more. It's just that this is what we want to do. This is the music I was a classically trained countertenor. You know, I mean, I sing the way I sing because I like it, and you know, and that's to me is what the kind of music I wanted to play. It's fun.
I've always felt that the stereotype of a guy in a rock band being a drunk or an idiot or whatever kind of works to your advantage a lot of times, because people will immediately underestimate you.
Totally, they expect so much less of you. It's
And
like,
if you look like one, it's okay.
Right. They immediately underestimate you, and then when they find out you actually have a brain in your head and you understand how things work and that there's no way they're ever going to get something over on you, you know, then it keeps them on their heels all the time, because they're the one who made the initial, you know, assumption that was wrong. And I think that's always worked really well for our band, because you've got guys who have always been extremely hands-on, you know, with everything. We're just not like dudes who live in the dark and we just want to play our guitars, man. You know, like, it's never been like that. You know, all of us could read a record contract.
What about you, Jay?
You know, being from Manhattan, on top of everything else, the expectation, like Jews from Manhattan and metal don't exactly roll off your tongue. I mean, you could come from the boroughs, you come from Long Island. So my parents' friends always thought it was a really peculiar thing, and it was kind of a cultural difference for me. I came from this household that was, my mother was a political consultant and thought I was going to get into politics. I was groomed to go to Washington and be a page and work for this congressman named William Fitzryan. So I get hung up in this metal scene and really start to enjoy it. And
You embarrass him?
well, no, here's what happened though. So we'd be on tour and I would be reading the New York Times at airports or The Economist or something, and people would see me doing that and wonder, what's that? So I started getting very self-conscious about it. So I used to buy the National Enquirer, and I used to put that over The Economist so that people wouldn't see me reading The Economist, because then I thought that they'd be truly confused or thinking that I was trying to look smarter than I was, so I was trying to play dumb, this reversal. So it's been kind of strange, but here's the thing that bothers me the most. In the terms of just general heavy metal and attitudes, people always say the same thing. Oh, isn't that funny? Like, oh, how amusing. It's like, you know, we work so hard. We killed ourselves for so many years, and the fruits of what we did through all the crap that we went through, 32 years later, or 30, you know, like you've been now in the band next year 30 years. 30 years we've been business partners through hell and high water, stuff that would just kill most people. We've sacrificed more, we've been through so much crap, and we are at a certain level of popularity because of all the work we did, and I get the sense that people just don't really get it. Like they think it's like they think it's the movie Spinal Tap, or they think it's some sort of a jokey situation. Man, it was hard.
An accident.
An accident. Aren't you lucky? Or
there are no accidents.
You know,
it doesn't take
hard.
8 years.
People have no idea how hard it is. Even down to the simplest thing of like, friends will come out on tour, they want to come out and see what it's like, and after one day on the bus, and they're not even doing anything, they're just hanging out. After one day, they're exhausted. They can't even hang. And I'm like, try 20 years, you know, like of making
and
this
the fact that we can show up at these gigs now in some part of the world one day a month, show up jet lagged at the age of 50, and headline these festivals where most of the bands are 25, 30 years old, and have to blow everybody, do our best to blow them away and headline these gigs at 50 with jet lag and all that goes with it. And the only reason why we succeed at the sound, risk and sound melodramatic, and all of us, is because our lives are like icebergs. You have this little tip at the surface that people see, and underneath it there is this gigantic wellspring of hard work, and that's what people don't see, and that's what we possess.
Okay, so now it's time for the second half of this matzah tradition. Can somebody explain matzah to people in the Midwest who are going, what the hell happened to their bread?
It flattened out.
It flattened out. Why is it
Because
flattened?
no yeast.
No yeast because you couldn't spend time baking. You had to get.
Put it on.
You had to get going.
Stones.
They were leaving.
They were leaving.
They
There
were
was no
escaping,
time.
and they couldn't wait for the bread to rise.
They basically needed a quick snack.
Grab those tacos and
Let's get
get the hell out of here.
Right. Let's
Like
blow
in
this
an
hot
burger
dog
in LA,
stand.
you know, you get in, get out.
And what they don't tell you about this stuff is you eat it and you'll be blocked up for a week.
I had one piece and nearly that formed the Heimlich maneuver on myself. All right, so tradition is that I broke off half, I put it in the matzah envelope, and we hid it for the youngest at the table. our little child,
Be happy
Scott.
with you, man.
So, Scott, you have to go and find the matzah half so that you can win your prize.
Nice.
Nice?
You give him a hint where it is?
Okay, it's somewhere in this room.
Oh, great.
All right, Scott, so you can find, okay, getting warmer.
I'll give you yours, but I can't
Getting
afford it.
warmer.
It has to be the same matzah
I'm
that
going
Dave
for the
did.
red stripe.
Warmer. Warmer.
Oh.
No, cold.
Scott, you're making life difficult.
I can't
Start
see
in
him.
the
How's he
beginning.
doing?
Oh, I see it. I see
Oh,
something.
yeah, you're burning up. You're burning up. All right, tradition is that the kid's supposed to get money, but instead, we're going to give you that guitar to sign for VH1's Save the Music. It'll be donated to charity. As a matter of fact, we should all sign it later on.
Okay.
And thanks, guys, for joining us from
Cheers to you.
Matzo
Good to see
Metal.
you, man.
A very classic Passover. L'chaim.
JJ.
I feel a little more Jewish.
Yeah, I feel less.